Hey everybody, welcome to Debo's Overwatch blog for September 13th. As always, you should check me out on twitch.tv/SPSDebo, YouTube DeboSCS2, and of course Facebook and Twitter is also DeboSC2. Hope you guys enjoy. Hey guys, Debo here today. Actually was able to find some very interesting news. As always, I got the highlight of the day, or the match that was the highlight match of the day up there on the screen. We're going to do a little bit talking about some of the stuff I discovered, and basically, I don't really want to call it manipulating the system, but it pretty much is manipulating the system. Now, if you guys haven't noticed the last previous kind of days, I've been playing a lot of Zenyatta, Winston, Torbjorn, trying to figure out what is the best way to get enough points so I can climb. Now, you know, in this system, it's basically a little bit weird. I know systems like League of Legends, your MMR basically can be different than somebody else's, which determines how fast you climb. But generally speaking, you get the same amount of points as everybody else on your team. So basically, if you're a supporter, AD carry, it doesn't matter what your specific role is, as long as you help facilitate your team winning, or you had some impact, or if you just sit there and you AFK'd and you got carried. At the end of the day, you would get the same points as everybody else on your team. Let's say you go into a match. If you lose the match, you'll lose 17 points. Or let's say you lose 25 points if you're favored. But if you win, you'll gain, 25 or 30 or 20 points, whatever. Everybody gains the same amount. It doesn't really work that way in Overwatch. Now, the one thing that we always wish for in League of Legends or other ranked games is that we had our own individual player ranking so that we didn't lose as many points as everybody else. Because there were some games we felt like, hey, if I did well on my team, and I still wasn't enough to carry for my team, why should I lose the full amount of points? Maybe I should only lose 70%. So basically something along the lines of, let's say, my team, I did really good. We're supposed to lose 20 points. We lost, but I did very good on my team, my individual performance. Instead of me losing 20 points, maybe I only lose 14. Whereas somebody on my else's team who didn't have a big impact on the game, they would lose the full 20, I would lose 14, so the next time I get 20, 30 points, I can still remain climbing. Now, the thing I realized about that, if that system actually was in play, and it was based on your individual performance, and you don't make sure that supports or other subsidiary roles, or whatever that fancy word I'm trying to use is, or just if the other roles that basically aren't damage, or things that can drastically up your meters and stuff like that. If they're not put into check, then the problem is, and people won't want to play support, people won't want to play tanks, or people won't want to play the roles that can't get a really good individual performance so you can get those extra points. Because the idea is, if I just make sure I play a role that I can get a really good performance on, when I win, let's say as an example, I get 40 points. When I lose, I'll only lose 20 or 25. So even if I have those games where I lose, as long as my personal performance is great, who gives a flying shit about, anybody else on my team? At this point, we're just worrying about, what personally I can do. And like I said, that's a very dangerous game to play, because that might end up making people not want to play, support at all, or people not want to play tanks at all, or not play certain characters because certain characters can't get the easy, objectives, or not objectives, the easy gold medals, as you will. Now, some people say like gold medals have no impact on your actual game. That's a bunch of bullshit. The way it kind of works is this is what I noticed. If you have gold medals in something, it does affect your performance of your team, because you're getting a lot of stuff done. If you got gold damage and gold eliminations, not only are you helping eliminate a lot of targets, but you're also doing a lot of damage for your team, and that means you're pretty much a big significant part of why your team is doing so well. Now, just because you get 4 gold medals or something like that, I don't think it necessarily will mean you won't lose a lot of rating. But what I think is, the more you basically do for your team, like if I'm a healer, if I got like 90% of the team's healing, or I heal a crap ton, in combination of maybe having another objective, let's say for a healer, something easy to get is objective time. If I have like a lot of objective time, the most dominant on my team, and the most amount of heals, then basically I'll be able to make sure that I get the most amount of points for this character feasible, while making sure that when I do take a loss, I mitigate as many points I lose, so that I can keep climbing. Well, Debo, what do you mean? Well, long story short, I was playing Zenyatta earlier today, And I start looking over my logs over the last week, and I've been noticing, 24-point win with Zenyatta, then a 28-point loss, a 23-point win with Zenyatta, then a 25-point win, then a 23 loss, then a 22 win, then a 21 loss, a 23 loss, a 27 loss. And the thing I noticed is that Zenyatta is never going to be top in heals, so you'll never get a gold medal in it, and you won't be the number one healer for your team. Neither will he be number one damage because he's, a little bit of everything, and maybe you can get objective time, but Zenyatta really doesn't really play well in the objective. Is Zenyatta still necessary for facilitating a good team and making everything work and climbing? Oh, most definitely. He's very good in team comp. I think he's mandatory. The problem is in this individualized system and how the points are scaling is that you're better off just playing selfishly and doing whatever you can to get the most amount of points for your character so that so that your individual performance can basically rank you up. So even though you're picking something for your team, if you can't get the gold medals in certain, at least I would say at least 2 categories is what I'm noticing, you won't be able to effectively mitigate the dead points you lose when you're in the game or whatever. So let me just go ahead and include myself here. I ended 17-10 today, 62% win rate. The thing that made me climb is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 matches as Lucio at the end of the day. I only lost 1, 2, 3. So I went 7 for 3 with Lucio. So also something you got to remember is that your win streak, the more wins you get in a row, the more points you get. But let me give you an idea of what I was dealing with Lucio. 32 win point with Lucio, and the only thing I focused on was every single match is I wanted to focus on 2 goals. Getting gold and healing, getting gold and objective time. Sitting on the point on assault or just sitting on the payload and just healing everybody as much as I can and getting the number 1 as much amount of healing done on my team and getting the highest amount of objective time. And I said, well, at least if I get those 2 categories, I always notice I get around anywhere between 28 or higher points to 30 points. And when I lose and I have the highest objective time and highest healing, I only lose 17 points. So in the first match, I got 32 points, and then the next game, I got 17. Some people say, well, Debo, what's the big deal? When you look at that, let me do a little bit of math. 3 equals 20, that's 13, 14, 15. So basically, I gained 32 points, lost 17, so the difference is I still gained 15. The next match, I lost 17 points, so I was only behind 2 points. So 1 win made up for the 2 losses that I took because those are only 17 points, right? So this is big. Once I discovered this out, I just said, okay, well, each character can have their own little goals or objective-wise where you just basically plan on making this your major goal. I read a thing on the forums where a guy climbed from regular platinum all the way up to diamond as Bastion, just focusing that he always got the highest objective time, highest amount of damage, and highest amount of eliminations. But even if he only got 2, that's the easy 30 points. And even when he loses, as long as he's golden 2 of the objectives or doing 2 of the major roles in the group, he is going to get reduced. He's going to get reduced points lost when he loses, or his points lost will be nowhere near than what he's gaining. And plus, if he goes on a win streak, his wins or his points will just basically increase a ridiculous amount. So I said to myself, okay, for Lucio, what's the easiest objectives or what's the easiest gold medals to get? Objective time and healing. I focused on those 2. And like I said, I'll just go down the list here. 32 points for that game. Lost 2 games or over 17 points. So basically, I was only 2 points behind after I won 1 and lost 2. Then I won 29 points and I lost 18 points. And I won 29 points, 28, 30 points, 30 points, and 37. The big thing is if I can mitigate how much I lose, and I can always guarantee I'm getting 28 to 30 points or higher, or 28 points or higher when I'm winning, plus the win streak bonus, it's really hard for me not to climb. So like I said in the first example, in 1 match I was able to get 32 points. I lost the next 2 games at 17 points, still performing the best on my team, getting the most amount of healings and the most amount of objective time. And even though I lost 2 games in a row, I mitigated how many points I lost because my performance, my individual performance is good. So I don't know what Blizzard's going to need to do, but the key question you should be asking yourself is, how can I get the most amount of gold medals as possible? And I know this sounds terrible for my specific character. So as a tank, you might be able to get gold eliminations, and then you might get gold in objective time. Whereas a DPS, you might get gold in eliminations and gold in, damage done. As long as you got those primary roles, like you did the most damage on the team, or you got the most eliminations, or at least it seems like at least 2 categories. I have to do more testing, but it seems like you can easily get a solid 30 points. And when you lose, you only lose about 17. Now, here's a crazy thing. If, you actually, I remember one game I got, 35 points or something as a Lucio before, even on a Zenyatta, because I was actually able to go ahead and just, I not only got objective time and healing, I also got, on top of that, like objective kills, which I just happened to be there to help people kill, and I got assist. I wasn't eliminating anybody, but I had 3 categories as gold, more points given, or I had 4 categories and I lost less points. So I hope Blizzard looks into this for the next season, because basically I'm just gonna ride this thing until see how high it can go. Spamming Lucio games, and just trying to always get the highest objective time and get the highest amount of healing done, and just do it that way. Because you know what? If it means that I only lose 17 or 18 points, but I'm gaining 28 to 30 points every single game, I can do that. I can win a game for 28, 30 points, then lose one for 17. That means you can go 50% win rate. And as long as your individual performance keeps getting you 28 to 30 points, you could take a 17-point loss. Who cares? Because, let's say you gain 28, you take a 17-point loss. Who really cares? You just you're still up 11 points. So if you're breaking 50-50, as long as your performance is good every single game, you're gaining 11 points every single 2 games, no matter what happens. Now, if you win more games, great. If you lose some more, whatever that happens. But as long as you maintain a 50% win ratio, you'll keep gaining like 11 or 10 points every game you play, regardless, as long as you can win one and lose one. And if you have a higher win percentage, as long as your individual stats are good to adjust the score that you get, then you can easily manipulate the system to get what you want. So, Debo, how can I use this information to help me out specifically? Well, the way you can do it is just figure out what are the easiest things you can rack up as. Like I said, as a McCree, it's very easy to rack up a lot of damage if you're shooting a Reinhardt shield, or you're just jacking up your numbers for damage to get the highest damage done on the team, and then you're looking for maybe something along the lines of maybe objective time. That could be your second gold. Objective time is very easy to get. Or maybe you can even look into getting a lot of gold elims, something like that. But you just got to look for what it's each individual character. What can I do to get these medals? What can I do to make my individual points better on these numbers or statistics or whatever, so that I can make sure that the points that I'm gaining is way more than the points that I'm losing. So I'm going to keep playing this Lucio until the wheels fall off. I had a very good day. I went 17 for 10, had a 63 win percentage. But like I said, the game, my points didn't spike until I started playing Lucio today, and that's what I focused on, my individual performance, and said, well, screw everything else. And like I said, it was 2,477 points. I gained 32, lost 17, gained 29, which put me at 2,504. Then I lost 18 points, which pushed me back at 2,000. Which put me at 2,486, and I was still ahead. And then I went on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game win streak, which was 29 points, 28 points, 30 points, 30 points, and 37. So to undo that, I would literally have to do a bunch of losses in combination with not performing well. I can always perform well in a match even if I lose, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So like I said, I wouldn't call this revolutionary, but I kind of understand how the system works and how to dramatically skew the odds in my favor so that I'm losing the most minimum amount of points as possible while retaining or getting the most amount of points as possible so I can climb effectively. It's going to take a little bit more time to test all this. Like I said, by the end of the week, if everything keeps going well, I should easily be diamond, climbing 36, 3,700, and maybe even up to masters. Like I said, we're going to spam these Lucio games, and we're going to focus on getting objective time and the highest amount of healing in every single game. We're going to see how high it goes, and as long as I break 50%, in theory, I should climb. And then once we get the system figured out, then maybe we can start looking at some other heroes and figure out how we can play to their strengths to make sure we can get 2 or 3 of the categories for gold medals, so we can up a lot of the our MMR, or up a lot of the stuff that we're gaining. But like I said, overall everything went well today. As always, I appreciate you guys watching my daily blogs and stuff like that. If you got any questions or comments or anything you'd like to add, just go ahead and let me know. Outside of all that, man, like I said, starting the day at 2,408 and ending the day at 640, that's almost a 240 point climb. Only had 2 draws today, so I'm pretty happy about that. And as you can see, like I said, got my little 14k healing right there on the screen. And like I said, the big thing here was able to get that season high. And like I said, I'm pretty stoked about that. But as always, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. If you guys want to see the yesterday daily vlog videos, go ahead and click the bottom left annotation or go click on the bottom left hand screen. That'll take you to the previous video. And of course, if you're a day behind the blog, then of course the next day will be on the bottom right hand corner. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button in the bottom middle, the orange button, so you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys like and share this with your friends. As always, my name is Debo, and I hope you guys have a good day. And I'll see you guys next time with the next vlog. Take it easy.